Hello and welcome to GameSack and to another episode of games that make great first impressions. Some of these may be the best stage or segment in the game. Others, maybe not, but they all leave you wanting more. Up first is a game whose opening stage blew me away simply by watching a VHS tape a friend recorded for me like way back in the day. I quickly mentioned the first Super Mario Bros. In the last episode on this topic, but Super Mario Bros. 2 here also has a super fun opening level. After you choose your character, you fall into a void which only contains a singular hill and a couple of enemies, kind of like a dream or something. Once you go out the door, you're in the level proper. Here you run around and pull up vegetables from the ground to toss at the enemies to kill them. You can also pick up bad guys and throw them, but they won't die unless you throw them at another bad guy. Soon you pull up a potion from the ground, and once you toss that, it turns into a door. Go inside and it's another void-like place where you can get coins and power-ups. You keep running to the right past a waterfall, which looks pretty amazing on the console for its time. Eventually, you'll get to a door. Go inside and it's a cave with its own waterfall. Climb all the way up the vine and go out the door on the right. I hope you enjoyed climbing that vine back in the cave because now you need to climb a bunch of vines which have enemies on them. This gives you a chance to master the slippery control because you'll slide right off if you're not careful. This part here certainly teaches you how to get the hang of it. Get to the top and then move to the right and you're gonna fight the fearsome first boss in the game, Birdo. You need to use Birdo's projectiles as your own weapon. That's crazy! But wait, remember that cave back there? Well, if you went left instead of right and then jumped up here, you can pull up bombs from the ground. You just gotta time throwing them to gain access to that secret door. If you are able to do it, now you're outside again and you need to go up and over the top of the screen to the left. That's right, it was a shortcut to the Birdo boss fight. Once you defeat the nefarious Birdo, a mouth opens up. You walk in and you're eaten alive. You then play some slots to gain extra lives. This certainly isn't your granddaddy's Super Mario Bros. Well, it is these days, but you know what I mean. Here's Super Ghouls and Ghosts from Capcom for the Super Nintendo. This whole game is amazing, but this first level sure starts it all off perfectly. Like the previous two games, you start off in a nice graveyard with green grass, fighting undead monsters and other abominations which are absolutely unspeakable. You can get different weapons here as well as different types of armor. The green armor will power up your weapon, and the gold armor will let you use ninja magic. Sorry, I mean medieval magic. I keep making that mistake. Take a hit and your armor gets knocked off, leaving you in your undies. Get hit again before grabbing another armor and you die, turning into a pile of bones. This game lets you double jump and the section in the water here will make you learn exactly how it works. This part of the level is extremely good at teaching you, and trust me, you're gonna learn real good after a couple of deaths. The last section here is a bit easier, especially since you've learned how the jumping works now, but it's still fun. Then you get to the Stage 1 boss who is a scary bird who stretches out his scary neck and can even vomit up scary eggs. The entire level features ground that deforms and changes up. This stage will kick the ass of most newcomers, letting them know the beating that future levels are about to give them. The music is an arrangement of the same tunes featured in the first level of the previous two games. This level really lets you know why the game is called Super. Here's Strider on the Genesis, though the arcade counts for this episode as well. This first level is pretty crazy for a home console game or even an arcade in 1990. Hell, the entire game is. You start out landing in Russia and slicing the commies in half with your sweet blade. You're here to spread freedom whether they want it or not. If you play the Japanese version, he has a vocal grunt as he slices the commies. You climb up vertical surfaces and get power-ups that kind of orbit around you, spreading freedom to anyone you may not have liberated yet. What the hell is this? It's a little robot in a Davy Crockett hat. Why are you wearing a hat? I don't like it when robots wear hats. Die! Holy crap, there's a bunch of these little guys! You then get to the mid-boss, who sounds like he doesn't want any freedom. Well, he has the freedom to go straight to hell. Then you climb up the ledge and the music changes for the second time. Most games only have one musical theme per level. Well, not this one. This first stage has 5. There's a lot going on at this part. Be sure to get this hidden life up on top of this pole. This power-up is only in the Genesis version because it has
8 mega memory.
Climb to the top and the music changes again as you slice up everything you can see. Make your way down, but watch out for the thingy that's on the side. Slice the building open as you do and go inside. It's another mid-boss. Watch out for his lasers. They'll probably hit you eventually, but you're Strider, you don't care. Yes, your name is Strider. I will hear no dissent. The music then changes for the last time. Go up and over and you'll see all of the Russian leaders merge into a giant communist centipede. But you'll have none of that. He dies and freedom is restored to the level. What a trip this was to play through the first time, or any time. Oh man, this next game has an incredible opening segment. It's not short by any means. That's what she said, I hope. This game may be a bit divisive, but there's no denying how well it opens. Here's Metal Gear Solid 2 on the PlayStation 2. It was also released on the Xbox, PC, and redone in HD for pretty much every other console ever made. It was so great to fire this one up after the amazing Metal Gear Solid on the original PlayStation. You're treated to an opening presented in 5.1 Dolby Digital if you have your PS2 hooked up that way. Snake begins the game aboard a giant ship that's purportedly hauling another Metal Gear prototype. You need to find out the ship's destination and take pictures of the Metal Gear that's in the cargo hold. But the ship soon gets infested with bad guys. You can run around trying to be stealthy, but you can knock them out with your tranquilizer gun, which is all you have besides some stun grenades. Try not to let the enemy see you. After you make it to the bridge and then transmit the ship's course back to your base, you enter the boss fight. That's right, the boss fight takes place in the middle of the level. Again, you only have a tranquilizer gun, but come on, she's a girl. She puts up a good first fight though. After you beat her, you take her real gun. Killing men is fine, and you'll be doing plenty of it before this segment ends. Hey, if they didn't want to die, then, well, maybe they shouldn't have been born. Idiots. It's a good thing that this is all pretty fun. You also need to take out sensors with the gun, which would otherwise trigger explosives when you walk by. You do a lot of sneaking around in plain sight. Good thing that everyone else around is extraordinarily stupid. Then, Liquid Ocelot shows up and steals the Metal Gear. What a great opening to the game. Unfortunately, after this, you control a character named Raiden for the majority of the game. The gameplay doesn't deteriorate or anything. It's just that Snake is so cool and Raiden is not. Why would you want to play as him most of the time? Such a strange decision that they made when making this game. Back in the day when I got to this part, I immediately became disinterested in the game and started playing other games instead. In fact, I never came back to it. But I gotta hand it to Konami. It was a great start, and it'll take you over an hour unless you know exactly what you're doing. Here's Donkey Kong Country on the Super NES from Nintendo. This was new territory in graphics at the time, and the first level, Jungle Hijinks, leaves a great impression. It gives you plenty of opportunities to get used to the control as you marvel at the pre-rendered graphics, which were crazy insane back then. I remember marveling at those trees and how detailed the shading was. They looked real. I mean, not like real trees, but like a real object made out of plastic or something. We really hadn't seen stuff like this in video games before. It was quite striking for the time. This level is full of stuff that let you know that Nintendo actually did have a competitive spirit back then, and they weren't taking Sega's popularity explosion and the threat of upcoming 32-bit consoles sitting down. The level is quite short, which is its only flaw. However, you can still ride an animal friend and use his powers to take out bad guys. There are also a couple of secret areas to find which have bonus games. A great start to a great series. It's Rocket Knight Adventures from Konami on the Genesis. Konami wanted a mascot platformer, and they went all out giving him a fantastic first game. And this first stage is as smooth and as fun as they come. Early on into it, you get to a ledge that you can't jump over, and there's no tutorial telling you what to do. You'll have to learn to boost over it on your own. You know how many people who played this game were able to figure this out without a tutorial? All of them! This stage also gives you pigs and large vehicles to destroy, and plenty of them. Even pigs and bootleg Star Wars ATSTs, is that what they're called? I forget, who jump at you from the background. Soon, you come to a tree that you can launch up into, which teaches you how to maneuver yourself while hanging from your tail. Make it to the top, and you fight your first boss segment against a slightly hard-on-the-eyes waterfall. If you're a beginner, you might die, but he's easy to learn. It turns out that he's only a mid-boss, though. After you beat him, you launch into an almost horizontal shooter-like sequence featuring some nice parallax scrolling effects on the mountains back there. Actually, everything in this part looks really cool. This part is fairly short, but it ends with another mid-boss, a giant mechanical snake. He's pretty easy just as long as you dodge him while attacking his head. Then you're inside, and you'll quickly come up to the only thing resembling a tutorial in the game, showing you how you want to bounce off of the walls to ascend. You'll get some cool screen effects as fire tries to blast you. Ouch! Keep working your way up and you'll eventually make it to the boss of the stage. He can be crafty. If you die, you get set back, but there's a 1-up that you can keep grabbing again and again, so no big deal. This boss fight is definitely more intense than the others, but again, his pattern is fairly easy to learn. Beat him and get ready to play the rest of this fantastic game. While the Rocket Knight sequels were a far cry from the original, Sparkster on the Super Nintendo also still has a great first stage. It's similar in some ways to Rocket Knight Adventures, featuring familiar controls and a stage layout that's a bit reminiscent of that game. Here, you have rocks that morph into evil wolves, which only want to kill you. The game has some cool special effects, like reflections in the water or an evil transparent blob that's floating around. Once you get to the end of this short outdoor section, you fight the boss. But like in Rocket Knight Adventures, this is only a mid-boss, and this one doesn't value your personal space at all. He wants to get really close. After you murder him forever, you go aboard the flying ship. Now you'll have to deal with different obstacles, but the wolves are here as well. You also get the bounce off of the walls just like Rocket Knight Adventures. Here's a tip for you though, don't go into this little nook and blast open the box. Why not? Because then you'll get an endless swarm of wolves coming out at you. It's not worth your time unless you want to turn on auto fire and get a high score. And that's going to take you forever. Work your way to the end of the ship and meet the boss of the stage. His attacks can be extremely difficult to avoid, but fortunately he doesn't take many hits before he's just a memory. I think what really helps make this first stage so special is the extremely heroic music that makes you feel like you can do anything. How about Streets of Rage 2 on the Genesis from Sega and Ancient? All of the Streets of Rage games are fantastic, but this one made the best first impression for me. Being that it had 4 times more memory than the first game, everything here took a huge step up. The characters were bigger, there's more color, and far more detail. The music is once again done by Yuzo Koshiro, and it's ramped up to 11. The sound effects are beefier too. You can feel the punches because the sound effects are nice and loud. Playing this for the first time, I was completely blown away because it had improved so much, yet it was still very familiar. Almost right away the game starts scrolling diagonally, something that the first game didn't do. The stage design here is fantastic, and that meant you didn't know what was going to happen next. You eventually make your way down and across and face up against Jack, the first mini-boss. He spawns an infinite amount of knives that he can throw at you, and he'll laugh if he knocks you down. Beat him, and then go into the lounge. Here, you'll smash tables and chairs because why not? They're in your way, and there may be some hidden items to grab as well. The music has changed to a more relaxing style which you might find in such a place, but you'll still want to kick everyone's ass. Eventually, you make it to the bar and you see a lady hanging out there. You decide to hit on her. Literally. The bartender runs away. Turns out that she's just another mini-boss of sorts. Once you're done, you go out into the alley where it's now raining. And hey, it's the bartender. You gonna come back in and give me a drink, bro? Guess not. Turns out he's the boss of the stage. You need to deal with him and his cronies, but fortunately he doesn't have an unlimited amount of them to help him out. The music here is awesome. What an amazing impression the stage left on me. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 on Genesis has the best opening in a 16-bit Sonic game. You start out by flying in with some cool line scroll effects. You then turn into Sonic Chew and start racing along the ground. But then you bounce into a pink guy called Knuckles and you drop all of your little jewels. Knuckles then picks up all of your little jewels and offers to hold on to them so you don't drop them again like the complete dumbass that you are. Now you're off to explore the land, but it's infested with bad guys and diabolical traps. The level is quite large. You can go up towards the top or stay down low. You get to run through loops, of course. I mean, this is a Sonic game. But you can also run around the insides of trees. You can even swing on trapeze-like things. You get to the first mini-boss and he sets the entire level on fire. Okay, that's not nice. It really isn't. You continue your way through the burning level, running through the same types of loops and collapsing ledges that are the staples of the series until you come up to the same mini-boss again. This time he's spitting fireballs at you, but he's easy to take down. End of Act 1. Act 2 begins immediately right there without any kind of transition. I love that. There are bonus stages here as well. You want to run around the sphere trying to collect all of the blue balls. I generally prefer not to play these, but I figured I'd mention that they're here. Act 2 is mostly more of the same, but here you have ledges that disappear and reappear behind the waterfalls. Pretty tricky for a first level, but you should be okay. Eventually you'll just be running along and a giant airship shows up and tries to firebomb your ass into oblivion. Wow, all this because I dropped my little jewels? Come on! Then you run through some trees with 3 overlapping layers of parallax scrolling, which is damn good for the Genesis. Then comes your first fight with Dr. Robotnik. Watch out, because he's a cheater and keeps hiding behind the waterfall. It's honestly a really cool effect. Beat him to end the stage and you'll go on to the best underwater stage in a 16-bit Sonic game. Going back to the Super Nintendo with this one, and when I first saw it, I was super jealous that Sega didn't have anything like it. Well, just kidding, I had both consoles, so I ended up buying it after I saw it at a friend's house. Here's Star Fox on the Super NES from Nintendo and Argonaut. This game uses the Super Effects chip to bring polygonal gameplay home to consoles. It certainly wasn't the first console game to be built with polygons, but it was the first to shout it loud and proud with a huge marketing campaign. The opening stage is your home base, Corneria. It opens up with a frickin' awesome display of polygonal power for the time, complete with voices provided by real people. That was awesome! Now you're in control of your ship from a third-person perspective. You're always flying forward, but you can go up, down, and left and right. You get to fly under arches for extra fun, and even fly through rings, which will blow your mind. Be careful, as even in this level it can be easy to hit things because you're not used to how big you are yet. But you'll quickly learn how to fly through the dense metropolitan cityscape full of buildings without a scratch. And while you're at it, you might as well topple some of these strange towers. I mean, they're here and I can shoot things, so I might as well shoot these things. But you gotta be careful because you're never sure which way they'll collapse. At the end of the level, the boss comes in overhead, and it's an intimidating entrance. He's pretty easy though. You can use your bombs if you want, but I recommend not doing so because it's just more fun to bring him down with your regular shots. The music here is also classic. Star Fox 64 on the Nintendo 64 also deserves a mention. The game is quite similar to the original, only now with 64-bit power! Once again, you start off in Corneria. Thanks to the analog controller and the much improved frame rate, flying your ship and shooting down enemies feels even better now. You still get to fly under arches. You also still get to fly through some rings. You can now do different maneuvers by pressing one of the C buttons and a direction. You can also enable a cockpit view at any time if you want. And there's even more real voice during the game.
Do a barrel roll!
What's super cool about this one is that you can choose your route. Continue on straight ahead and you'll get to an area where you fight the boss. You adjust your wings and suddenly you have full control of where you fly in a 3D space. You're not locked into going straight ahead. This boss is pretty fun, and naturally he doesn't put up a huge fight. Beat him and then you'll find yourself flying through the asteroid stage. However, if you follow Falco and fly through the waterfall during the stage, you'll meet up with a different first boss, which is the same thing as the first boss in the original game. He might be a little tougher to defeat here, but not by much. Beat him and you go into the exciting Sector X stage. These are the two best Star Fox games, and they both start you off in a super fun way.
You've got an enemy on your tail! Use the brake!
How about Revenge of Shinobi on the Genesis by Sega? This amazing game lets you get used to how the rest of the game is gonna be, so you'd better learn up while you have the chance. You'll attack various enemies, including dogs, all of which explode when they die because of course they do. Why even bother dying if you don't explode? This first area is pretty basic, just make it all the way to the right and exit the screen. Now you're in a more complex area that will test all of your wits and video gaming training. Here, you need to touch these things on the ground to rotate and unlock areas. Go inside the house and kill everyone in there. Careful not to touch the bamboo spikes, they hurt. Stop and get the 1-up and then proceed to the right outside of the house to the turny thing on the ground. Touch it to make it rotate. Now make your way back inside the house where you came from. The basement has been revealed, and it's the only way to get to the other part of the house where you need to kill everyone else. Watch out because ninjas keep jumping out at you from behind these doors. You also need to deal with bamboo spikes down here. Eventually you'll make it out and now you're in the other part of the house. Kill everyone, leave no witnesses. The enemy is pretty stupid though. For example, when you crouch, they'll drop their sword, which leaves them vulnerable. Be sure to do this to the beat of the excellent music by Yuzo Koshiro. You'll get to do this all over again just as you exit the house. Kill him, get the box for more shurikens, admire the bonsai trees, and exit. Now it's the first boss fight. Like the other big guys, this even bigger guy is only vulnerable when his sword is down. You can use ninja magic, but I always just double jump and spam my shurikens at him. It wastes a lot of them, but it's fun. This game has such great design. Shinobi 3 on the Genesis also deserves mention here. The first stage is Zeds Resurrection. It takes place outside, mostly. It gives you lots of room to get used to Shinobi 3's new moves. Shinobi 3 can run by double tapping, and during a jump you can kick if you hold down and press attack. It's super fun to do. You can also do a slash if you stay on the ground and attack while running. The background features 3 overlapping layers of scrolling, which again is pretty good for the Genesis. Soon you're inside some caves and you need to take down 3 big guys who throw a power wave along the ground at you. After these guys, you're deeper into the caves. You'll be grappling along lines to get across chasms. You can do this on ceilings as well. Then you'll discover another new move, wall hopping to ascend, which is super fun. You'll have to defeat more regular enemies as well as more ground wave tossing enemies before you get to the end of the area. However, just before you exit, be sure to wall hop up here and grab an extra Shinobi 3. Go back down and now you're at your first boss fight. This dude has tons of blades and pokey things that will deflect your shurikens. You can wait until he lowers them to attack and just keep doing that. Or you can use some ninja magic and toast some of his health away. Beat him and get ready to enjoy the rest of this awesome game. How about R-Type, the first one? This is the TurboGrafx-16 version, but it's available in lots of places these days. It starts out like any old shooter in its time, in space with a plain background full of stars. You start shooting down enemies and you come to your first power-up, except that you don't get powered up. Instead, a little thingy flies in that's also shooting. You can join with it, but you have the same old shot as before. Well, the thing about this new item is that it mimics your moves. For example, you can shoot it off and then move up. It'll quickly follow and shoot the enemies inside that you can't quite get to yet. Now you're inside the metal base and you get another blue power-up icon, but now it gives you a sweet laser that bounces off of the stage borders. You can also hold the attack button to build up a charge, which is how I recommend taking out this little spinny circle of guns. Continue on and you'll get a few more power-ups, like the red shot circle laser thingy, a bit, which is basically an option that floats above your ship, and then a homing missile. You then go through whatever these two things are. You've got 2 robots to defeat when you get out, and personally, I always avoid picking up the blue laser again here. Now you're up against the first boss, and he's a huge alien monster, and this was mind-blowing back in 1988 or 89. Just make sure his tail is down, shoot your drone thingy into his stomach face, and he'll be gone in a few seconds. Such an impressive opening for a game back then. Now you're off to play one of my favorite second stages in a game. Play R-Type if you haven't. R-Type 3 is also worth a mention, first release on the Super NES. You start out inside your ship and then you keep zooming out all the way until you can control it. That's a pretty cool effect. Gameplay-wise, it starts off similar to the first game, in space with not a lot going on, but soon you'll encounter some enemies and structures. You'll make it to this part, which looks pretty basic, and it mostly is. That is until out of nowhere it starts rotating! Whoa! How did they do that? Oh, it's an effect that's literally built into the console? What will they think of next? Next, the structure is rotating while shooting at you. Once it stops, you need to use your charge beam to blast through the gun. You move on a bit and then it starts spinning all around you. Don't let it confuse you though, just stay in the middle and nothing will hit you. Now you're at this part where whatever this is also rotating, but in a different and weird way. If you have the skills to survive this, you'll encounter the first boss. There's not much to this guy as he mostly rotates and zooms around. A good heavy charge shot will bring him down without much effort. This is an excellent game. Sticking with the Super Nintendo, this next game exudes atmosphere right from the get-go. In fact, it might still be my favorite game in this overall series. And no, it's not Super Metroid, but maybe I should talk about that too. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo starts off perfectly. You wake up during a huge rainstorm after hearing Princess Zelda call to you in your sleep, saying she's trapped in the castle. For some reason, your uncle heads out and tells you to stay put. Maybe he heard Zelda's voice too? Who knows? Since you're a disobedient little asswipe, you leave the house anyway and head towards the castle. You don't need to worry about getting lost, as the guards will prevent you from going the wrong way. You sneak around to the side of the castle, rip some shrubs out of the ground with your bare hands, and fall into a secret hole. And there's your uncle, who hasn't made it any farther than this. He reluctantly gives you his sword and teaches you the time-honored charge attack that's been passed down in the family for thousands of generations. Here it is. Nice. You go back outside, and while you're out here, you might as well murder some guards. Now you're wandering through the castle, attacking enemies with the sword, collecting rupees for money, and hearts to restore some of your life if you need it. You kill certain enemies to get keys to unlock doors, and get special items and treasure chests which can come in handy. This basically gives you a good taste of what the real dungeons will be like a bit later in the game. Eventually, you make it to where Princess Zelda is being held. You need to defeat this boss, but no matter what you do, he just won't die. Turns out that you need to use the time-honored charge attack that has been passed down in the family for thousands of generations. And presto, he drops the key. You've rescued Zelda and beaten the game. Congratulations. Well, except you haven't. Now, you need to escort Zelda back up to the throne room because she knows about a secret passage to an old man who might be able to advance the plot, or at least that's what you both hope. You uncover the secret passage, and now you're going through a bunch of dark areas. Fortunately, you can light them temporarily using your fire near the lamps in each room. Eventually, you make it to the old guy, he marks some stuff on your map, and off you go, beginning a truly grand adventure. This brief opening really does a great job setting the tone, and it draws you into the game like no other. Here's Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation from Squaresoft. You start off right in the thick of things, but you have no idea what's going on, at least not yet. Turns out that you're invading a plant or a factory or something to set some bombs as you're helping out a terrorist group do some terrorism. The music is urgent and you need to hurry, and you'll learn how to control your dude whether it's running, picking up items, pushing buttons, or climbing up and down ladders. All along the way, you'll get into random battles. At first, it's just you fighting enemies on your lonesome. These guys do their best, but you'll soon send them to their graves. These battles give you a chance to learn the various battle menus. Soon, Barrett will literally merge with you physically, which means he's in your party now. And that also means he's part of the random battles and you control him as well. Barrett has a gun for his arm, just like Mega Man. He's basically the same as Mega Man in every way, except for those ways in which he's different, which is pretty much every other way. After a short bit, you get to your destination. You're about to set your bomb when a giant anti-terrorism robot attacks. This is the first boss fight. You can't just keep attacking him and hope to win. If you do, he'll attack you again and again with his tail, and that'll be the end of you. But if you just wait until he puts his tail back, then you can attack him normally and win. The robot should know better than to put his tail back down, but he's extremely stupid. Okay, you won and the bomb is planted, but now you need to escape before it blows. You go back the way you came while a timer counts down, but you keep getting interrupted by random battles and the timer doesn't stop for these. Uh-oh, Jessie's leg got stuck and only you can save her. Hurry up guys, hurry up! You make it out in time and then your terrorism goes off just as planned. Now everyone's running around going crazy. And thus begins the game, where you'll learn a whole lot more about the goings-on of this world. What a great beginning. The God of War games aren't for everybody, but there's no denying that they have fantastic openings. Like God of War 3 here on the PlayStation 3. The Titans are climbing up a large mountain in an attempt to defeat Zeus. As Kratos, you're hitching a ride on one of them, named Gaia. You zoom into her shoulder and suddenly you're fighting enemies here. The sense of scale is super cool. You'll run along defeating enemies until you come up to a giant horse crab boss. He takes a bunch of hits as the camera moves to and fro. You then rip off his jaw with a QuickTime event. Hell yeah, he's done. You'll certainly never see him again. But you still need to make your way around, and this sequence lets you learn everything that you need to know, like climbing on vines that look like this, or swinging from grapples to cross large chasms, or even opening treasure chests to get colored orbs. That's awesome, I love orbs. You move along a snowy part of a mountain, making sure not to fall off. Of course, you'll also have to defeat more enemies. You'll go inside of a structure that's on the mountain. After fighting the enemies in here comes a quick platforming event. You need to pull this lever and then race to the other side of the room to climb up to the platform before it moves back. Eventually, the horse boss shows up again. Turns out that he just doesn't want to die, like at all. After this, you actually go inside Gaia. You're wandering around until you make it to her heart, and then you'll encounter your first mind-bending puzzle. I'll go ahead and solve it for you since I have a big brain. You need to take this stone slab, move it, turn it around, and then insert it into the gap over here. This will let you climb across. You eventually make it outside, and it's that damn horse boss again. It turns out that it's actually Poseidon. You know, Poseidon. Now you have a huge battle with him that lasts a while. Eventually you do beat him, but you're not done. He's a human-sized guy now, and you have to smash him up using quick-time events. He dies and falls into the ocean, which promptly floods several cities, but that's okay, who cares, you're Kratos. You get ready to fight Zeus, but he smashes Gaia and she falls, failing to save you. You fall to Hades and spend the rest of the game getting back to Zeus to defeat him. It's a pretty epic start to the game. We go from a long-ass introduction to a short one with Super Metroid from Nintendo on the Super Nintendo. It starts out with a story sequence which I assume is from Metroid on the Game Boy since it's in black and white. I really haven't played that one much. So, you have the last Metroid, which is a baby, and it's in captivity, which naturally means the entire galaxy is at peace.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
That's right, no war or strife of any kind across billions of planets. You give the Metroid to some scientists so that they can study it and test some chemicals on it. You're pretty damned happy with yourself, so you leave since your work is done. But you only get a few clicks away before you receive a distress signal from the scientists. You turn around and travel back to the base. You arrive and thus the gameplay begins. Gotta say, kinda hazy in here. It wouldn't be so blue if something weren't wrong. You travel deeper into the base because, of course, it's way underground. Uh-oh. Hey, lady, are you okay? Oh, crap, the last Metroid's broken out of its case. Sir? Sirs? You guys all right? Crap, this isn't good. Okay, well, I guess I should investigate further in. Oh, here's the last Metroid. He's still in his jar. How you doing, little buddy? You okay in there? Did you hurt and or kill those people back there? It's okay if you did. They were just NPCs. Wait, what's going on? It's Ridley! It's alright, I can beat him. I'm good at Metroid. This is gonna be easy. Actually, the only way to win here is to lose. You can hit him an infinite amount of times, but the fight won't end until you're low on energy. Then Ridley will go all mode 7 on you, taking the last Metroid. Oh crap, now the base is gonna blow up and there's a countdown timer. Go away, timer, come on, go away, I can't handle this kind of pressure. Ah crap, I better make a run for it. Excuse me, sirs, come on, get up, this whole place is about to blow. Ma'am, come on, we have to go, come on. Okay, your funeral, lady. Gotta make my way up this thing. Can't they just have stairs? And why is it rotating? This is actually kinda tough. Alright, I made it to the top and barely escaped in time. But now, the last Metroid is no longer in captivity, which now means the entire galaxy is at war. This was but a small taste of this excellent and moody game. Man, now I want to go and play the whole thing again. And there you go, more games with awesome first stages, or segments for games that don't have stages per se. I love making episodes like these because these segments are just so damn fun, but having to put them down after just playing the first part can be pretty tough with some of these. So what are some games that you feel open really well? Let me know, and thank you for watching GameSag. Hey there, I bet you'd like a Diet Coke just for the taste of it.
How in the hell did you know that I prefer the refreshing taste of Diet Coke?
I bet you'd also enjoy a picky-shaped cookie jar.
Indeed I would. This is something that very specifically appeals to my personal taste. How are you doing this?
And perhaps you'd like some Bounty paper towels, the quicker picker-upper.
Yes, and that is not something I generally make known to people. Are you targeting advertising to me?
Of course, why would we show you ads for something that you have no interest in?
But I don't have a phone, I don't have an internet, hell, I don't even have a credit card.
Oh, we have our ways.
This is a blatant invasion of privacy.
But it's effective advertising.
This makes me uncomfortable. What else do you know about me?
Well, we know you're a big fan of Hello Kitty.
That's where you're wrong. I'd never be into girly crap. Guess I can rest easy knowing that your targeted advertising doesn't know much about me.
You sure?
I'm sure. Go away! Hey girl, you want to bake some cookies with Mimi? Diet Coke.